And we are live. Good evening. Welcome on in. This is our Exploring WordPress. Yes, indeed. We are live on Facebook on the Compass Media page and also on the Digital Alchemist page. I'm Alan Hennessy from Compass Media. It's a very good evening to you. Social media management, social media trainer, consultant, and podcaster. And I'm joined by my co-host. Sorry, I got it right. My co-host, right here, right there.
Yep, it's me.
Mr. Trevor Lawkins. How are you, Trevor?
I'm good, thank you, Alan. Yeah, good to be here again, exploring the world of WordPress.
Brilliant stuff. And let's tell everyone about who you are before we start.
Okay,
right. I am. Nobody knows you.
Nobody knows me? Oh, who are these people? I am Trevor Lawkins, the digital alchemist and graphic design, web design. That sort of mail sums it up in a little nutshell, but it's 30 odd years of creative design in this new modern digital world.
Brilliant stuff. And guys, if you are watching tonight and you are watching, tell us where you're watching from and give us a little nod to say hello, and we shall endeavor to answer any of your questions tonight as we explore WordPress. And as I said, if you have a question or anything, please do let us know. We say hello. David Brown is in the house. How are you, David? Good to see you, and thanks for joining us tonight. And tonight, guys, we are going to be talking all about WordPress themes. Yes, indeed. And looking forward to this conversation, as it sparks a bit of, interest in people when they see all these fantastic, WordPress websites, and they go, wow, that's great. And then they go to design their own, and all of a sudden they go, where's that one that your man had? And so we're going to try and explain and dig a little bit deeper into as to how you can find them, install them, and do all the other good stuff as well with it as well. So so Trevor, brilliant. Where should we go? Or what is a theme? Just for let's be really, I suppose. We'll start at the beginning, as we always like to do.
Why not start at the beginning? A theme, in its basic sense, really, it's the it's kind of the flavour of what your website's to look like. You could say it's your colour scheme. There's a starting point. Is it blue and red or pink and yellow? What sort of colours are you starting with? Although that can be tweaked later, but it's also the structure. So, nowadays websites have a fairly common. It's a theme, really. You'll have a horizontal menu bar across the top somewhere. You can have a logo somewhere. You may have, typically on, say, on a blog, a right-hand panel with links or archives or categories of your blog, and then you'll have the main body of the page, and then you'll have footer at the bottom. That's a fairly basic kind of structure, and the theme will define how that structure works. Will your logo be top left or in the center or top right? Will you be able to move it? Or is it you can only have the logo on the top left? Think of it, you want to buy a house. And you sort of think, okay, I could do with a 3-bed semi. That's what I'm really looking for. And you can go searching for your ideal house, and you find one that's a 3-bed semi, but it's only got a single garage and you want a double garage. Well, what can you do? Can you bolt on another garage? Do you think, I'm going to have to look for another out? I'll keep looking. And then you find another one, which is a 2-bed semi, double garage, but hasn't got the proper garden. And it's not quite as you want it. They're all houses and all garages. And this WordPress is fairly similar. And this is the fun of WordPress, is finding the theme that you like. And to be honest, there are, I'd probably say millions nearly, but certainly thousands of themes out there. And it's quite staggering when you think the permutations out there of those kind of themes, of which one are you going to use. And I know you and certainly I have probably spent many years trying varying themes over the years, and you find when you think, oh, this is really good, that does that, that does that. All right, it's not a double garage, it's a single garage, but it does everything else I want. I'll live with that one, and I won't worry about the extra garage. And then you find another one, you think, well, I don't know, that one actually is quite good. As you discover other themes, or you see other people use something, and you explore and find more and more themes. So it's an interesting concept, trying to find the perfect one. I don't know, I'm not sure there is a perfect one somewhere, but it's certainly worth taking a bit of time just to see what is it that you're going to need, how complicated do you want your site. I do see some people go overly complicated, and I know I've worked on a few clients' websites where they've already got an existing site that I have to have a look at, and they have so many options, there's so many features. And I've had one just today. It's got a little header bar across the top for an e-commerce site, and by the word where it says shop, there's a little logo, little icon, and I've got to change that link because it's the wrong link. And I can easily change the text, but I can't find in the theme how to change the little icon next to it because it's so complicated. You can't, it's got too complicated, if you like, just to change that one tiny little thing. And I know David says he's a big Divi lover. I've looked at Divi. And yes, it's quite complex. It does lots of things and it's very powerful, but for a beginner, it could be quite daunting. Yeah. If you want a one-bedroom flat, don't go and buy a stately home.
And I think that is the big thing where, as you say, there's so many different types of themes out there, and like that, as you say, I've spent years going say, oh, that's a great one. And I even seen one, I said to myself on YouTube, I was scrolling around on YouTube one night, and this theme came up where this guy was talking about this theme. He says it's great, and I went, Jesus, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And like that, I went in, I downloaded it, I installed it into WordPress, and I went, okay, I'm going to watch a man's video, and I'm going to do it as he done it. There was so much he didn't tell you on that video. And it was like, okay, this is step-by-step guide, but like I'm going, okay, well, how did he get into that section first, which he didn't show, so there is a lot of that, and there's a lot of confusion around the type of the complexities around, I suppose.
I see a lot of beginners go for the complicated themes which they think would be all whiz bang fancy, and then I say they spend a lot of head scratching, a lot of YouTube videos just trying to find out how to do something fairly basic because the theme is too complicated for probably what they actually want to do.
And a lot of that is as well, like even like when it comes to like watching, and don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking YouTube videos at all, and some of the WordPress tutorials on YouTube are fantastic, but there is some there that say, okay, you just add your image, but they don't tell you the size of the image. They don't say what they don't tell you. So there's all these things that you automatically need to know. So there's that as well. But then I suppose as well, it's the look and the feel of the theme. Of like, if you see something that looks really gorgeous and really, really smart and cool, and you think that's going to be great for your website, I think you really should be thinking, okay, well, how hard is this to actually do it? Whereas my suggestion would be is to start off with something quite simple and then develop it, because once you get your head around the theme, then you can start to say, okay, right, I know how that does. And that's similar to how I learned a lot of this stuff with the WordPress themes. Like I'd start off with a very simple one, say, okay, I know that all the settings are here, and I know that this is so, and then the next time I go, I'd say, right, let's update that and try this one. And there's I think that's a big part of this as well,
it is that challenge of finding one that's going to do what you want it to do without, if you are a beginner and not too sure about it, without being overly complicated and getting you bogged down. Because again, if it's too complicated, you get fed up and think, I can't cope with this. It's all too much. I just want to put this logo here, or I just want to work out how to move this over there. And some themes will let you do it, and some things won't have that feature. So a lot of research to be done to try and find some. And I think when we look at the research, we can look at WordPress or how to actually get a theme, but just when we look at them, you can do them within WordPress, or you can just Google WordPress themes. You go to Google and type WordPress themes, you'll be inundated with numerous websites. There's some websites selling their own, or you can upload your own, or there are other websites which are like online stores for various themes all put together by a collective of people. And some themes are free and some are paid. I know a lot of themes will be free with, say, a paid version, which is a more professional. So you can sort of start using it and think, well, that's quite good. Oh, that feature's quite good. Oh, that's a paid feature. I've got to upgrade to the Pro Edition. But at least it gets you used to the basics of the theme, and if you want to add some extra features, that you may have to upgrade to a Pro feature. But if you feel, if it's worth it and it's affordable, I mean, some themes you could probably spend $50, €50, whatever, 100 upwards, depending how much you want to spend on it. So I think if you find the theme you really like and it's £50, say, or euros or whatever currency for the Pro Edition, you think, well, that may be not too bad to get all those extra features. So plenty of choice out there.
And that's the thing about the about the upgrades and stuff like that. I would always say is that you say, start off with the basic one, say, and then like you don't have to go and sort of say upgrade and say, okay, well, what do I get when I upgrade? Like you can go in and you can look and you can see, okay, it gives you social icons for one, just for a thing. And these are the type of social icons. And if you like them, then you can say, yeah, okay. If you are committed to it, you can say, right, well, let's invest the few bob, and whether, as you say, anything from €50, actually I've seen them sometimes even cheaper, 20 and 30 and €40 and stuff like that. So and then obviously the more complex, the more expensive they're going to be, but then the more functionality that you can use around it, I suppose, is the other side of it as well. So I think I suppose we're talking about it here, and I understand, and I think there's a lot of teams out there. As you say, there is ones that you can go. If you go to Google, there is so many different websites out there that have fantastic themes. And so, as you say, some of them are free, some of them are paid, and whatever. So what I would like to cover here tonight would be is I suppose we can find out, we have two different types of angles at this. So we have ones that are sort of within the WordPress framework, for want of there's two standard ones we get, and we'll have a look at them, but there's also then we can also choose from a wide variety of them on the WordPress platform. That's a very hard word. That's a very hard thing to say. And then there's obviously the external ones and stuff like that. And I think that's where it gets a little bit sort of daunting when people are going to the external ones and they're saying, well, how do I get that into it? So you're going to kindly show us how we can do that as well. So I think what we'll do is I think I'll just share the screen here and let people see exactly what we are talking about it. So let me just change views here to, let me see this one. This is the one. Hold on, I have to do it. Still getting to grips with this thing.
Press your buttons.
There we go. There we go. That's better.
There we go.
That's better. So someone did say to us maybe we wanted to go full screen, but like I don't think there's very little difference between going full screen and just putting it aside. But we have increased the
You've zoomed in a bit.
You've zoomed in a bit in the dashboard and things. So Trevor, I suppose the first question is where do the teams sit? I know we did touch on it slightly last week, but I think we should probably go in a little bit deeper. So I suppose if I'm coming on now and I want to get a team, where do I go? It's under appearance.
We go on appearance, and there's a one called themes. So this is if you weren't listening or watching in last week, this is a standard out of the box WordPress installation, and with it they're good enough to give you a couple of themes. And currently we're at 2019 and 2020. I guess that will obviously move along next year to 2021 and that kind of thing. I know we've lived through various series, but there's a couple of standard themes there, and you can hover over and it'll give you a preview and a bit of blurb about what you get with what we won't go to that theme details, and you can scroll to the next one, and it gives you a preview of what's there, what you're going to get, and a bit of text about what's there. Be honest, the two basic WordPress themes that come with it are fairly basic. They would be enough to get you started with something happening, but they're fairly limited in terms of what choices out there in the marketplace. So if you want to look at finding another theme, we can add a new theme, or there's a button up here, add new, whichever you want to press does the same thing. And here you'll get a suggested list currently of featured themes, which WordPress is currently suggesting these are the featured ones. However, they decide they are the ones which are featured, and you can see all the different types we've got there. We've got popular. I guess that's by number of downloads and installs and that kind of thing. We've got latest. So there are new ones coming through. And
I have to admit, like, you know, like there's some really good ones in the actual in there. Like there's like if you look at some of them, there actually are there's some really nice, clean web, you know, like that. But like you see this now, this is what I'm always saying is like when you see that preview, you go, Jesus, that doesn't look a great website type of thing. But it's, you know, and I think that's what puts a lot of people off when they go to Teams. So
yeah, I mean some are better than others. I don't know. Let's have a look at some. You know, you can give a quick preview. I mean, it gives you sort of color schemes and colors and
and I suppose the other side of that is like that there, even on that one, is it's up to you to reword it and, you know, rejig it. You know what I mean? That just sort of gives you the basic layouts, I suppose, if nothing else, you know.
Yeah, it's giving you a basic starting point. What the features are. And I think, you know, a lot of the free ones are fairly basic because they are free. But here you can then search themes. But you've actually got a filter if you want to filter by different categories, different styles. You know, if you want 4-column, 3-column, 2-column, whatever. You want custom headers, so you can filter by different options. If you're trying to think, well, actually, I want a 2-column theme. We'll apply that filter, and that will filter just to 2 columns. Just to try that out. So you can, you know, you can work that out. We'll clear that. Apply that. Oops, apply filters. Or we can search for a theme, and if you know, David said Divi themes. If you search for Divi, you might, if you're lucky enough, find Divi. Or you may find people who put the word Divi within their theme search just to get the traffic above there. But, you know, if you can find one this way that you think's kind of what you're looking for, say we want this one here, you know, you think, oh, that's nice colors. I like that typeface. Yes, that looks good. If you want to be happy with that one, you can install it. If we click preview or install it there, so there's, you know, there's plenty of buttons. But if you press install, that will basically now install that into WordPress.
Right. So that's basically that's like from the Teams menu is actually installing that as an active theme. And I see there as you say, when you press it's installed, and then I suppose the next point is to activate that. Then.
Yeah. The thing you have to bear in mind, if we now go back to themes, you will see this now. So here we've now got this one here, which is not active because this is currently active for the WordPress one. The thing you've got to be careful, if you've set your website up under this theme and you've created loads of pages and loads of content and customized and all the rest of it, and you click this theme, it may change some of your website. So you have to be careful. So I would always say before, you know, at the moment, this is an empty website, so we can do anything. And if it breaks, it doesn't matter because, you know, it's a demo site. But if you've spent 5 years building a website and you've got 5 years worth of blogging and you click activate theme, you may find if you don't like it and you go back to the other one, the things may change. We don't know. So I always say back up. Do a backup before you do anything major like this if you've got a live site. Because you never quite know who's written the theme. Is it, you know, okay? And will it revert back to the old one? It should revert back, but sometimes, you know, there's always that one occasion you find it's gone wrong. So I would always decide on an active site that's got plenty of content you don't want to lose, do a backup before we make any changes. But if we click activate, it will then activate that theme. And it says, thank you for the theme. And you get started. And if we now visit the website, this was the old theme. If I refresh that page, you can now see, you know, the topography's changed, the colors changed. It's got little bars next to the menu options there. it's still an empty site because we haven't actually put anything into the website, so it's still fairly blank. But you can see that's how that's how quick it's changed. If we click back to activate 2020, which we did have, and then go back to the website, that's gone back to that website. Okay, so I say it should swap between the two, but I would always be cautious if you've got a heavily populated site you don't want to lose. So that's really how easy it is to install a theme. If you find one, the challenge is finding them. I think that's your challenge, is finding one that you like. But don't get bogged down with this is all blue themed with these links, because you can probably only customize that and change it to green or red or purple, whatever. So don't get hung up on that's the only color you're going to have. There are probably chances of you can customize that to a degree, and again, it's all dependent on each theme of how much customization you can do within the theme. But if we go into customize, we're still on 20. No, sorry, let's just okay, let's just make that active again. So we're now active on that one. If we go into customize, won't go into all the detail here, but you've got a lot of options here. So you've got colors, for example.
It automatically gives you the options of what's in that particular theme, which is really what we're talking about.
This one hasn't got a lot of customization in it. I mean, when you go into colors, all you've got is background color. So I can change the background color to red, which isn't the most exciting. Your menus, widgets, homepage settings. So here within the theme, you can't change that color blue. There's nothing there you can do to change color blue. It's a fairly limited theme. And this is one of the things. A lot of the free. There is a lot of free themes which are fairly limited. Other themes I've had, you could go into there, and under colors you might get options of the highlight color blue, and you can change it to something else. It all depends on the. I won't change that, and I'll go back to 2020 just so we're back to where we were. So it is theme specific. Some themes you can change the colors, some themes you can't. But it's kind of, you're not going to know until you try it.
Well, that's it, and I think that's very important. Sorry, I'm just going to jump back to us for a second. And I think it's actually very important that we actually that we do make that known, that there is limitations to a number of them, but I suppose it's trial and error, and do your research, and as I always say, ask the question on Google as well. What are the best themes, and you'll get a response back in some shape or form, and then go and investigate what people are saying, what people are reviewing.
There's lots of review sites. There's lots of people reviewing themes. There's lots of review sites. You get that feedback in there. But the beauty is, if you're starting from scratch and you haven't got a website you're trying to change, like we've got here, an empty site, you can install a theme like we've done there. A few clicks, you're installed. You look at it, you change it, you go into settings. No, that's not what I want. Delete.
And I think and I think one of the key factors there is that what you were talking about is that think about the theme at the start. Don't be halfway through and say, "Oh, I don't like this," and go in and change it. Because as Trevor has said, if you have done some sort of work on it, it may not sit, and you may be back to square one of having to resize and rejig the whole site. So try and find the theme that you're happy with. And I know I have, when I'm creating websites and stuff like that, I have 4 or 5 themes that I would use, depending on what I'm doing, and I sort of stick to them, because there's sort of it's a two-prong approach. Is that I know they look good when they're finished, but I also know where everything is on them. I know where all the different features are, and I know how to get to them, because I've been using them for a while. So, and like it's not that every website that I do is the same, but what it is it has the framework of it, and then it's obviously it's adapting it to whichever way you want it. But I suppose the next thing that I was going to say to you is okay, so that's the internal, I suppose, themes that are on WordPress. So if we're thinking about external websites and taken a theme that we found on an external website, the
Yeah.
external WordPress theme,
Yeah.
how do we install them? So let me jump back over here
Yeah,
to
I mean, if you've wandered around Google and found some reviews and you've done some research and you found a website and you think, oh, that's the theme I want, and you're on the website that's kind of selling the theme, or it's maybe free, but you'd still have, even if it's free, you've still got to download it or get hold of it. You're going to end up with a compressed zip file. That's what you're going to download, whether it's free or paid, however you get it. If you're going to get it from another website theme seller, if you like, you'll end up with downloading a zip file. And to get a zip file into WordPress, it's fairly painless. There's a bit more stage to it, but basically you need to get your zip file, download it to your own computer, so you save it somewhere on your local computer. And then we basically go back to the themes again where we were, and up here we've got add new, as we did before, and the button here is upload theme. So we can upload here, and it's browse to pick. And it says if you have a theme in a zip format, you can install it here. So we browse. I've got one here called West. It's probably a little bit out of date, but we'll install it. If I click install now, that will churn away for a little bit. And there we go. I think it's a fairly simple theme. So it doesn't take too long, but it shouldn't take more than a few seconds to do it, and it will unpack the process. We can return to the themes page, and we'll see it's listed here. And if I want to live preview that, I'll see what that looks like. So this is quite a sort of bold, funky typography, big image there. And that's the preview of that. And again, we've got all these customization options here. And you see this one here compared to the one
so that's
before,
what you were saying earlier on, yeah.
There's more choice of what colors you can change. So you've obviously got your background color, but then you've got menus and footers. So, for example, this footer here, I'm guessing if I could change that to, I don't know, make that purple, you can see the footer changes to purple. So this one has a bit more choice of what you can change. Yes, I think this one's I think it's still a free theme, I think. So that's the preview. I won't save those changes. And if you want to make it active, we just click activate, and then that now is our active theme. And if we go over to here and refresh, this is now the active theme we've got. And you can see this highlight color they had, the color scheme there. And the one thing you can notice here, it says, because I know this is an old theme I haven't used for a while, it's this new version available, update now. And this is the one thing with themes. If the company that produces a theme, like any software package, creates new updates to it, changes to it, there may be some bugs in it or new features, WordPress will tell you that there's an update available automatically. And if you want to go and update that theme and keep it up to date, if it's critical, you've got a site live, do a backup before you do it. We're not going to worry because this is a fairly empty site with nothing too much critical in it. We basically click on update now, and that will churn away there, and it will get the latest updates, and then that has updated. So that's there. Another thing this theme has triggered, because it's a bit more complex, as you saw the different color options, is this theme recommends these following plugins. So plugins we'll talk about another week that link with things like page builders and themes, but this one's suggesting to make the most of this theme, you might want to get the Live Composer page builder to go with it. And that obviously is a companion piece of software that goes with that theme. You don't have to have it, but it's suggesting that makes life a bit easier. They go hand in hand. So it's all fairly self-explanatory, really.
And I think that's yet again, that's one of those ones where if you start actually looking at it, and you'll see that it actually does, it's, if you're taking a website in or you're taking a theme in from the outside, it's fairly easy to do, because I know in the past I've sort of gone and I've said, oh, that's lovely, and I'll download it and it'll sit, and I'll say, where do I put that, or how do I get that to work, and do I click? And a lot of people what they'll do is, and I know I've been, maybe I am the only one who has done this, but I probably not, is where I've actually opened up the actual the zip file and says, oh yeah, and clicked on home and said, well, why isn't this working? Whereas
Yeah,
it's actually, it needs to be installed. And, I know,
yeah, yeah,
but some people may have done that. And if
yeah,
you have done it, don't think you're on your own, because I've done it as well. And I'm sure I'm not the only one either. So as Trevor explained there, the easiest way to do it is to actually bring it in and you upload it, and then you open up the zip file, and it'll
yeah,
automatically will open up all the files for you
yeah,
within WordPress theme. The
yeah.
other thing that I wanted to touch,
Hmm.
I know we spoke about it in the past, and I know we use them quite a lot as well, but is these child themes.
Hmm. Yeah.
So for people who are sort of wondering what a child theme is, it's actually not just a child's theme type of thing. It's actually a sort of well, I'll let you explain it, Trevor, because I'm just going to say CSS files and stuff like that, and people go,
Yeah.
"What is he talking
Oh,
about?" Yeah.
child thing. Well, let's just have if you share the screening, and we'll go into this the customization of this chart, this theme we've got here, which we just looked at. And you can see in here, this is how you can customize your theme. You've got header area, obviously up here, header type. You've got an
Oh,
image.
sorry, I'm doing
Oh,
something
oh,
there. No,
oh,
there
get back
we
there.
go.
We can have menu only, or we've got this image. So there's lots of customization happening here. We've got a menu style, sticky and static. Obviously, sticky menu stays at the top when you scroll. Static moves through the page. And a lot more fonts. You can choose different fonts, different font sizes. That's all in there as part of this theme. And again, different themes will have a different degree of customization on there. So yeah, if this yellow here, if I go into the colors, primary color, I can change that, say to pinkish kind of color, and that's changed that there. Okay. And to a degree, that's probably fine. A lot of the time, that will be okay for what you need to do. But when the time comes and you go, oh, I want to change that bit, and it's not in the theme, it won't let me change. Say you want to put, I don't know, a bright yellow border around all your images, for example, and the theme doesn't let you do that. You then need something called a child theme. And a child theme is very basically is 2 files. That's all it is, that you can install as an aside to your main theme. So if here we have the West theme, we would add West child theme. And it's a bit techie to get set up to start with. There's loads of help on YouTube, and I know when I first started playing with it, even though you followed the instructions, it didn't still quite work. And there's even times I get caught out where if this theme is West with a capital W and my child theme is West with a lowercase w, WordPress won't like it. It's that fussy. Yeah, so it is sometimes a bit of a tricky one to get right. But I know all the themes that I use, I've got child themes I use with them, and whenever I start from scratch, I always will install the child theme to go with it. Even if I don't use it, it's there waiting and ready if I need to use it. And what the child theme lets you do, if you understand a bit of programming, and mainly CSS is the styling side of it, which is customized style sheets. This is where you can say, I want images to have a border 3 pixels wide in green.
Right.
Yeah. Or I can say, I want button font to be Times New Roman. And CSS is used across all websites. It's a standard coding across all whether it's WordPress, whatever website you use, it will have CSS theming in it, and it's very widespread across the internet. There's tons of help all over it. Yeah, it's not the sort of thing a beginner's going to use, but I always say to beginners, be aware of the power of it. And I know we spoke the other week where you were trying to create some header text on sort of the banner across the number of pages, and I said to you, look, just put all the text in them all and we'll style it with the child theme. So we can then say banner images, the font is going to be Times Roman, the size is going to be 30 pixels, and actually we want all the text to go to uppercase. So even though you typed it in lowercase in the theme, we can force that to go to uppercase with a text command, a CSS text command that says move to uppercase. And what that meant is in that one file, you had like 3 lines of code defined that text across all your pages.
Yeah. And that is an actual, in a sense, that is, one of the benefits of this is I suppose the fact that instead of having to go into, if I had 100 pages on a website
Yeah.
and I wanted to change each one of them to be exactly the same, I'd
Mm.
have, if I didn't have the child theme, I'd have to go into each of the 100 pages
Yeah.
and change that there and then. Whereas
Yeah.
when you do it in a child theme, it cuts out that. It's sort of, I suppose, in a simple
Mm.
type frame is it's a template. It's the
Mm.
template that will
Yeah.
automatically change it for every page as opposed to just the one page. And I think
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the key important, I
Yeah.
suppose, element here that we're talking about.
Yeah. And I think that's the power. The client will say, "Oh, I don't understand all that CSS." I get that. I've spent 20
Mm.
years studying CSS, and I've got half an idea what I'm doing with it. But I get clients don't understand it. I don't want them to understand it. What I want them to understand is the power of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. If
exactly.
if if,
Exactly.
if you were, say, building that website for a client and you'd created 100 pages and you'd put the text in dark blue, and the client says, "Oh, website looks really good, but can you make the text grey?"
Yeah.
You'd have had to go back and edit 100 pages,
Yeah.
and then that's going to take you a good day or two's work. Whereas
And the
if
rest.
yeah, whereas with the child theme, if you understand the power of it, you've got one line of code that says color equals dark blue. You
Mm.
change that to color equals grey, and you can choose the color to whatever color shade you need. You save it, so within literally 5 seconds, that one
Boom.
line of code changes those 100 pages in one go.
Yeah.
That's what I want clients to understand. That's the power of a child theme, and you're better off having someone like me help you do that. That I can spend 10 minutes with you changing it, rather than you spending 2 days getting really bored, changing 100 pages, going, "Oh, did I change that page? Was it the right grey I used on the other pages?"
I know many many years ago, and you'll appreciate this as much as um, the elder lemons that are, if they everyone that are watching this. I remember used to use Dreamweaver. And now that'll show you how far I'm going back. When I
Yeah,
was when I found out after doing the HTML and learning how to write code and stuff like that, and that was great. But I went Dreamweaver. I said, "Oh, this is a godsend." But like that, I was very lucky in a sense because most people, when they started using that Dreamweaver, which was Dreamweaver was just like it was like a website builder type of thing.
mm,
For anyone who doesn't remember it, but everyone was sort of saying, "Oh, yeah, this is great," but then they come and they say, "Well, how come you have all that the same and you do that within a flick of a switch?" And like that, it
mm,
was the cascading style sheets or whatever it was called
yeah,
back then.
yeah, yeah,
The time then, so and I was using that and I was creating them, so I was going, "Oh yeah." Out of a flick of a switch, I could change 100 pages. And I remember actually
yeah,
having that for one particular client back then who decided that they were going to change their branding and they changed all their fonts from, I think it was black, and they wanted it into a blue on a white
mm,
background. I go, and he said, "I know it's going to be a load of work for you." And I'm going, "Yeah, it is." And really it wasn't. But at the end of the day, I said to him, "Look, I'll do that for you, no problem." I said, "I'll
mm,
have it done tomorrow." And he says, "Jesus, that quick?" And I says, "Yeah." But you know, and it was done and it was easily fixed. He says, "Oh, geez, how much do I owe you for that?" And I'm going, "No, you don't owe me anything." I says, "It was, look, you wanted to change it up, so we changed it." "Oh, no, that was great." But it
mm,
was like that. It was a huge time saver for me
yeah,
having. So, and I think that's where the child themes, I
mm,
suppose, into WordPress in a
yeah,
sense. They're
yeah,
similar to that,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
And this is some of the hidden powers of WordPress over other platforms. You know, some of the other platforms won't give you that technology. Yeah,
mm,
they will be as like, if you want to edit 100 pages, you need to edit 100 pages, and if you got the color wrong, you know, if it's
yeah,
not part of the theme, if it's part of the theme, that's easy. Like I say, that yellow I changed to pink. That's it. All the yellows across our website changed to pink. But if you're not within the theme and you want to go beyond the standard theme, these other platforms, you can't have that ability to change it. Some do, some don't. But it's a key thing to look out for when you're thinking about building a website, because these are the things that make your life a lot easier further down the road. you know. And I've seen so many people choose a platform that they start off, they go, that's all right, well, I'll tweak that, add that. And 2 or 3 years down the road, they go, well, can I do this? Well, you can, but it's a lot of work. If only you knew about this to begin with, today, instead of a week's work, we're talking 10 minutes work. Yeah. And they go, why didn't I know that when I started? You know, and the number of times I've heard these kind of stories. So I know we keep going on about WordPress, how powerful it is, but over all the years of learning web design and all the different options, it is the one thing that does have that power behind it. And I think that is the message, isn't it? It's understanding the power, even if you don't understand the technical detail of how to deploy it. If you know someone that knows how to deploy it, you know you can save collectively between you and me or whatever design you're going to use a lot of time if you get that sort of structure of the theme and the child theme right to start with. And it's that platform that will grow. And you know, CSS is incredibly powerful. All the websites in the world use it, and it is an incredibly powerful tool. And I think, you know, you've started using it, and the coding, once you start reading it, it's sort of fairly common sense after a little while, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is. It is until you get someone like you who says, yeah, right, colon, semicolon. Well, what's a colon? What's a semicolon?
Yeah.
Forward slash and backs. And, you know, okay. Now, lucky enough, like I have a bit of experience in it, and I understand when you're talking about that, what we're doing. But I would say I would agree with you if you are deciding that you wanted to add a child theme, even if it's just a case of getting a designer like Trevor or myself, or more so Trevor, for that type of job, is that he can talk to you and guide you through it, or even create that and then install it. And then as long as he knows what you need, then at the end of the day, it's a lot easier to do. And I think, you know, that's definitely the way to sort of think about it. But look, as I said, we're talking about themes here tonight, and we're talking about, you know, just installing themes and stuff like that. And I think we sort of went a little bit, we panicked people maybe a small bit when we talked about child themes. I would say, I suppose my thing here would be is that, you know, go have a look at the themes that are there, that are available, and then, you know, play around with them, have a look at them, install them, see if they suit you. If they suit you, stick to that theme. And then down the line, if you wanted to, before you start actually designing and stuff, is to think about the child themes.
Yeah. And I think the one thing is, you know, I've got loads of sort of temporary demo websites I use if I want to try stuff out that isn't on a live website, like we've got here, a demo website for these talks. You know, I've got the demo space. I can install things, play with them. If I don't like it, get rid of it and try another one and try another one. It's kind of that playground of what's all the different things I can try. And especially when we talk about plugins in another week, you know, it's another minefield of what plugins do I need. I can try them out and experiment with them on sites that aren't going to mess up my live sites, my client sites, practice with them, see what they do, learn about them, decide which ones I want to use, and build that library of themes I'm happy with, I know work, and I know what they do. And then I can deploy them on kind of live sites separately. So, you know, if it is something that you can set up a demo site yourself to experiment with these things, if you're a bit cautious about, I don't want to upset my live website, something you know you do. So that's always an option.
Yeah, exactly. Brilliant stuff. So, guys, I hope this was of interest to you tonight, and you learned something from it. And guys, if you are watching this on the replay, do let us know that you do watch it on the replay. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to throw them into the comments, and we will review them over the next couple of days. And if we can answer them for you, there's no problem. I know I think it was Amanda actually came on, and she was asking from last week's show about what we thought about e-commerce for WordPress. So we will be we'll be talking about that in a couple of weeks' time. So do stay tuned for that. But look, I know either myself or Trevor will come back to you on that on a private message as well. So Trevor, have you any closing words of wisdom for us?
I think the words of wisdom on it is this kind of classic that done is better than perfect. And with you can drive yourself mad trying to find that perfect theme. And I know I've driven myself mad over the years trying to find that perfect theme, and I've given up. I've found themes that do what I need them to do. I can tweak them with the child theme to get them a bit tweaked. But you know, find something that works for you. go with it, and you're going to get on and create a website live sooner than spending your whole lifetime trying to find that perfect theme before you don't let that put you off building a website. I think that's the main thing.
Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. Okay, guys. Well, until next week, next Tuesday, same time, 8 o'clock, we are going to say good evening to you. And hopefully, as I said, you enjoyed the episode tonight. I have to keep calling, I was going to say podcast, but it's not a podcast. Well, I suppose it's a visual podcast.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, we won't go into that. So, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. If you were on with us live or if you're on the replay, thanks for checking us out. And don't forget to like and share this with your community if you know of people that would be interested in learning more about WordPress. Okay. I've been Alan Hennessy from Compass Media. He's been
Trevor Lawkins, the digital alchemist.
And that's about all for tonight. So, as I always say, be social. Trevor?
Keep exploring WordPress.
Hey! On next time, guys. Have a great evening and talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.